everyone, here is Andy again, just giving you a quick update on some of the work I did last week on these icons. And there's still just let me tell you, a long road ahead. We're nowhere near finished. And I think that, as we go along, it's always important to have support as to what is happening. And I'm really appreciative of some of you who have in the community who have reached out in my personal blog to comment about some of the good updates, some of the feedback that this is causing you to provide. And I think that that's what the community is all about, right? Of course, with every piece of feedback we have to be judicious and just really think through, like, does this make sense, does it not, is it a plus, is it a minus, does it really help the issue? And I'm happy to report that so far so good. I think we have received a lot of push behind the effort to get these icons updated. And let me tell you that maybe right now, immediately, I will not be applying your feedback. But as I do a revision later, when I've completed all of the icons, then I will. And my rationale for that change is because many of these icons is nothing more than icon families put together. And one change in one location may mean a chain reaction of changes for many other icons that need to now have a correlated visual identity. And so this is one reason that I'm not applying feedback quite as quickly as it's coming, but I am queuing that up in my list of comments so that in the future, when I do my first revision, I will be able to address those things. So with that in mind, if you notice, for example, right here in the middle of the screen, right, we have these icons. They're all part of the same family. So for example, if I decided to change this arrow to be something different, I would have to change the arrow for 1, 2, and let's zoom out a little bit. There is the arrows up here again. There is the arrows somewhere down here again. It's in many places. And so it's in here, it's up here, in a few places, as you can see. So one easy way, I guess, that modern editors like Figma provide is that you can make a component out of that element, and then you just change the component and it changes everywhere. And while that might be a very fast and quick and dirty kind of change, it also means that you have to think about the unintended consequences of that change, which may mean that you have to go back to that icon and rework it anyway. So just stay tuned for that. And again, your feedback is always welcome. More than your feedback, I welcome more of you, more designers willing to help with this effort. So we still have many more icons to work on. And honestly, I'm a volunteer, so I only have so much time. But if we put many volunteers together, then we have much more time to do this work. So if you're interested, if you want to learn about some of the ways that these icons are made, let me know and I can help you. I also posted a couple of videos about how I edit the icons. And, after a little while, after some practice, you can see that it's quite easy to get editing, especially with the way that applications are, graphical applications work these days. So anyway, without further ado, let me show you some of the icons that I made, that I worked on this week. So we have these two rows where this icon here is exchange position and this flashlight on icon. And so let me show you what they look like right now. It's these two lines right here. Sorry, this two. So as you can see, nothing, you know, earth shattering here, just regular icons. A star, and some of the ones that are missing actually is because of the some of the CSS that carries over from Inkscape into Figma, and Figma doesn't know how to interpret the colors, so they come out blank, and there is nothing there to show. But others, for example, intrigue me because they seem to have shapes that are not consistent or not correlated. So I thought about the opportunity to do that, to change that. And even here, for example, this one is in the center, but it's in a half pixel. So that's not great. And we have some others, you know, familiar shapes here that we already have designed in the system. So I can just basically reuse and recycle. And then the other ones you will see in a minute are pretty easy to do. I had to redo this icon here, and I noticed one thing, that this icon, I thought maybe we would want to make our own, because it's exactly like the Apache collection thumbprint icon. So there is nothing wrong with imitating someone else's style, but like even though those icons are free, still it feels like not our identity. So maybe we want to change it up a little bit. And also I noticed that there was, you see right here, these shapes are not completely circular, neither is the tip end of this item here. So you see how none of the endings keep the shape. So I figured we could do some work there. The rest of the shapes are kind of easy. So, but I made a big change because, for example, these flags right here are supposed to be used, you know, for general flag things like in your email, in a message, in a system notification. However, we have two styles of flags, and I thought that maybe that's not the best we want to do, right? If we go back in the style, I believe, let me see, right here. Here's another flag style. And so I'm thinking, you know, maybe we don't want to have two different flag shapes. We want to use one. It just plays out better. Plus, these other ones down here, they're indeed flags, but maybe not, they could use a little standardization. So that's what I tried to apply, and I'll show you in a minute. For the next one, this flash icon, I thought, you know, I didn't quite understand the reasoning. So look at this one, and then look at the other one that represents flashlight on. You see how maybe if you look at them both, one means flashlight and the other one means no flashlight, because it has a crossbar from top to bottom. And so I'm wondering, does it really mean flashlight on and off? And so I made a change here. The same went on for this flower shape. While it maybe gives the vibe of being kind of like a sunflower from the top, it also doesn't have like a strong correlation to a plant. And so I was thinking maybe we could work on that, and I looked around for some examples and some changes I could do. The next ones are quite similar, even though, for example, on this one, I noticed that there is no reason why we have a folder with the fill here, the black fill, whereas the other one doesn't. So I standardized that shape. Then came some other applications of the letter A, which we already have, by the way, so we don't have to do a ton of work to get them figured out. This ice cream is supposed to represent food. I wanted to standardize the shape a little bit more, and I made some changes to make it look a little extra like you know, an ice cream cone. The next ones are fairly simple, just very straightforward, and particularly this ones right here. These are supposed to be the ones that tell you about borders and where your borders go. You would use this in Calligra, in OpenOffice, in just any application that does spreadsheet sheets. Sorry about that. And one of the things that I'm noticing here is that in this collection, in this family of icons, from here to the end, we have a black and a gray shape together. And that's not always the best for visibility because the colors are so close to each other. And so not only that, we have squares around that can symbolize many other things. So I took a more critical look at this collection of icons and decided to use something that I've seen in other applications, but adapted to our needs. So you'll see in a minute what happened. And I think that the relationship between the action and the icon is much stronger. Now, is it perfect? Is it the ultimate icon we could ever make? No. There is always iteration, there's always change that we can do, but I thought that I landed on a design that is applicable for many options. And then these icons toward the end are just fairly standard, even though, for example, for these ones, these node operations, I wanted to simplify them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 elements of the icon here that are, to my feelings, I feel like it's too much. And we're trying to quickly represent something. So when viewed from at a very close-up level, it makes total sense what it's trying to do. But when you're far away and your icons are small, you want to have less shapes to represent the core of the action. That usually makes a lot more sense. So I intervened these shapes a little bit more. And for these shapes right here, for this particular one, I standardized it and made sure that it was round the proper way. So without much more time, here's what I ended up making. As you can see, again, following the trend of thickening some of our items. This is the subscribe button, the file name in Amarok, and here are some others that we used. The music icon changed a little bit because I wanted it to represent a little bit more. I'm not sure if I'm too happy with some of these smaller shapes at the corners. I think that there is room for improvement. I made it a 1 pixel thickness, and that sort of sits at odds with the rest of the work, but I think it still works out. But with your feedback, I'm sure we can find some other ways. I just don't want to have too strong representation with so many items. I know that, in general, our audience is also represented by a lot of people who work with logic every day, who, these developers for whom, accuracy is very important. So I'm trying my best to make sure that I'm staying in the middle of that so that we can tailor to everybody. Now, like I say, nothing is perfect. So it's not like this is probably the only way we can do this. And for the rest of the icons, they're fairly simple. I simplified actually the paint bucket icon as well, because before it had a couple of shapes that weren't quite as balanced. And so I made a change. Here is a new icon for a thumbprint of our own making. And as you can see, all of the shapes are accurate as far as the thickness and the endpoints. Then, as I mentioned, I replaced all the flags with more of the standard flags that we set up in the beginning. And for the flashlight, I figured this is off instead of having a cross line on it. And on the other side, this is on with the sparks. And so I think it was executed well. You can derive a lot of meaning from it. I'm not sure if maybe in the past we used to have this, but it might not have been done the same way. So, the jury's still out. I think it still makes a lot of sense and we can strike a good balance. For the flower icon, this is what shape I ended up on. And to me, it seems more connected. It has leaves and a stem and the top. So it makes a lot more sense. Like I said, I standardized these icons on the folder icons, the A. This is what I ended up doing for the food icon. And then for the add node and these alignment buttons. And for the border icons, this is what I ended up on. So very strong power lines in the middle of the icon showing you exactly what's happening. Borders, middle, top, only centers, left, none, and right and top. So I think by symbolizing the dots, you can kind of tell very quickly to the user, these are not going to be touched. We only are working with this side or that side of the border. And when you look from afar, you can quickly make out the line that you're working with, which is something I really appreciate. And then for the other ones, like I said, I simplified the node icons and reused some imagery that was invented by the previous author and just basically remixed it a little bit. Same for the node connection icon, the money icon, and the node deconnector. So that's it so far, and I hope you enjoy. If you have any comments, like I say, just leave them in the blog, or if you find me on Matrix or Telegram, ping me directly. I'm happy to work with you if you want to join some of this effort. Thank you.